Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Garrett, a product manager here at AWS. Thanks for joining us today. I'm excited to talk to you about migrating and building faster on AWS with professional services in AWS Marketplace. Let's get started. Today, we are going to talk through AWS Marketplace's launch of professional services. We will walk through some case studies of customers already using professional service features, and then talk about how you can get started. Next, we'll talk about AWS IQ, the service we launched last year to connect you to hands-on expertise. We've launched quite a few updates to IQ over the past year, so we'll talk through those as well as some customer stories. So let's dive in. As you may know, AWS Marketplace has been active for nearly 10 years now, allowing you to find and browse software solutions. Our customers told us they'd love to be able to procure full end-to-end business solutions with software and professional services. As Dave McCann mentioned in his keynote, we are excited to share that you can now procure these solutions from AWS Marketplace. Previously, solutions with professional services often needed to be purchased through separate processes. Procuring professional services, which often included functional testings, security evaluation, contract negotiation, and vendor onboarding, could be a lengthy process that took months to complete, resulting in stalled innovation for your business. Now these professional service providers, both ISVs and consulting firms, are offering these services in AWS Marketplace, streamlining your procurement and onboarding process. Like I said, last year we also launched AWS IQ to help you connect with third-party freelancers and firms to implement AWS services. Over the past year, we've honed our feature set, improved the ability for you to connect with AWS partners and consulting firms, and integrated within AWS Marketplace. So now, no matter what type of professional services you need, you can find what you're looking for on AWS Marketplace. Let's start with professional services. As you move to the cloud, you'll likely find yourself purchasing third-party software solutions, such as Palo Alto Networks security software, New Relic's data and analytics solutions, and NetApp's backup and discovery software that run on AWS. Now, you can also procure the additional professional services to implement, migrate, support, or manage your software, all in one contract through AWS Marketplace. For many of you, this process is going to be very familiar. Just like you're used to purchasing and subscribing to software, or working with your favorite vendor to arrange a private offer, you can now add associated professional services or procure standalone services for software that you already have. You can find these services and full solutions all in AWS Marketplace, making procurement quick and easy. There are many benefits to this new functionality. First, you no longer need a vendor to support your software or look for help elsewhere for implementation. You can discover curated offerings and request associated services alongside your third-party software and easily access the tools you need. Next, you can streamline subscriptions as you engage with independent software vendors and consulting partners. AWS Marketplace enables you to cut down on the onboarding time and quickly get the software and services that you need. And finally, with professional services, you can obtain the payment, contract terms, and pricing options that best fit your organization's needs. You can pay all charges upfront, schedule predictable payments over time, or define contract terms to align with your requirements. Let's talk about some of the business solutions our customers have already secured. In our first example, the customer is a global consumer and commercial product company. The COVID-19 pandemic drove an urgent need to provide a work-from-home solution for their call center agents. Since the pandemic began, call center activity was increasing 60 to 70%, and they needed a solution quickly. Voice Foundry, an AWS partner focused on helping customers design and deploy intelligent and dynamic customer experiences for the contact center, worked with our customer to migrate their agents to a cloud-based solution. They leveraged Amazon Connect, Amazon's omnichannel cloud contact center, and PayShield, a third-party payment processing solution. Voice Foundry set up a cloud-based contact solution and enabled credit card payments over the phone while maintaining full call recording and compliance. AWS Marketplace allowed the customer to connect with Voice Foundry and procure the end-to-end solution in one contract. The customer has a rigorous process for onboarding new vendors that takes on average 2 months, which put the timeframe at risk given the urgency of the pandemic. Since AWS was already an approved vendor, this eliminated that burden and enabled procurement to move quickly. The customer was able to quickly react to their new environment and continue to support their end customers. Our second example customer is a global enterprise software vendor who provides end-to-end software, platform, and infrastructure services to help enterprises execute their digital transformation strategies. In 2019, to maintain their competitive edge and save costs, the customer needed to secure their AWS infrastructure and move away from a perpetual license model. After evaluating vendor options, they turned to Trend Micro because of the mature suite of tools and pricing options available in AWS Marketplace. The customer procured Trend Micro Cloud One. But as they grew, it became clear that they would benefit from additional professional services from Trend Micro, as they did not have internal resources to manage it at scale. They were able to procure Trend Micro's premium support services through AWS Marketplace. Not only could they quickly procure and start leveraging their new support services, but they were also able to simplify and centralize their security purchases on a single AWS Marketplace bill. This premium support option provided them with the expertise to help them continue to build and scale their business without needing to bring on internal resources. And finally, AWS Marketplace gave the customer the ability to have flexible payments, both a big win and a requirement for this particular customer. Being able to plan the payment schedule versus being forced to have an upfront cost allowed them to maintain their current business model. We are launching with a mix of over 100 consulting partners and ISVs. Here are some of our consulting partners at launch. And here are some of our ISVs. These ISVs and consulting partners have over 200 professional service product listings. We have a diverse mix of listings in 5 categories: assessments, implementation, managed services, premium support, and training. Assessment listings will let you evaluate your operating environment to find the right third-party software for your needs. Implementation listings help you to configure, set up, and deploy third-party software in your AWS cloud environment. Managed services give you end-to-end environment management from independent software vendors or consulting partners. Premium support products provide access to guidance and assistance from independent software vendors and consulting partners designed for your needs. And finally, product listings in the training category give you tailored workshops, programs, and educational tools to help your employees learn best practices. So let's talk about how it works. Getting started with professional services on AWS Marketplace is easy. You can search for the listing or the software you need the service for. You can view the service detail page before requesting to connect with the seller through a quick form. The seller will reach out to you via phone or email to discuss your needs. You then subscribe through AWS Marketplace, just as you would any other private offer. Once you are subscribed, you can pay and manage your invoices all in AWS Marketplace. So let's see the process. First, you'll search for professional services. If you're looking for a professional service associated to a specific software, just search for the software and you'll see related professional services. You can apply the professional services delivery methods to see all available services. Finally, you can also apply subcategories to refine results to show product listings by those categories that I mentioned. Once you've found a service that you're interested in, you can click on the professional service listing in the search results to open the product detail page for you to review. Then you'll click Continue to proceed to the next step and purchase the service. You'll then be able to see the Contact Seller listing page. Fill out the request form to contact the seller to request the service. The seller will reach out to you to confirm the details and contract terms. Once you and the seller agree to pricing and contract terms, the seller will extend a private offer. Your offer page will then show the private offer details. You can review the pricing, the payment schedules, and the contract terms and click Create to accept the terms and buy the service. After accepting, you'll receive an invoice from AWS Marketplace and can track your subscriptions in the Buyer Management Console. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about AWS IQ, which allows you to get hands-on help implementing AWS services. As I mentioned, we launched IQ last year to allow you to post custom project needs and be connected with a network of AWS certified experts. We've made some updates in the past year based on your feedback. Here's a quick refresher of IQ in case you're not familiar with how it works. At a high level, IQ allows you to find, engage, and pay AWS certified third-party freelancers and consulting firms for on-demand work. All experts on IQ are based in the United States and have verified identities, as well as verified AWS certifications. Two key features of IQ are easy access management to grant experts permission to your AWS environment, as well as the ability to pay directly through your AWS bill. You can post custom requests for assistance, browse our predefined listings, or connect directly with a particular expert. Since launch, we've continued to grow our pool of available experts. As I mentioned, to list services on IQ, you must have achieved at least one AWS certification at the associate, professional, or specialty level. We have all 12 AWS certifications represented, and even have some experts who individually hold all 12 certifications. On average, each of our experts has 3 AWS certifications. 36% of our experts have achieved a professional level certification, and 27% have achieved a specialty certification. Whether you have a small project or a complex workload, IQ has the experience and expertise to meet your needs. The lifecycle of an IQ project is relatively straightforward. So let's talk about how posting a custom project works. You'll post your request, describing your project needs in details. Then you'll receive expert responses and be able to chat with the experts to share more information about your needs, as well as better understand their qualifications. You can review the experts' profiles to select the best expert for your project. Once you've decided on the right expert or the right firm for your needs, they'll send over a proposal outlining the work to be completed and the price. The expert will not be able to charge more than the amount you agreed to in the proposal without sending a supplemental proposal for approval. Then, if necessary, you can grant the expert permission to your AWS environment for them to complete the work. As project milestones are met, you approve the deliverables and you'll pay directly through your AWS bill. Here's a quick demo. As I mentioned, first you'll post your custom request. You'll provide a title, a description, a budget, and contact information. We will contact you via this email address, as well as in application notifications to let you know of new messages from experts or proposals that are awaiting your approval or pending payment requests for you to review. Once you've posted your request, you'll see responses from experts, potentially from a mix of both freelancers and consulting firms. You can see in this example that I've posted, the response is coming from a consulting firm, Example Corp. We recently added the functionality to show you more information about firms so that you can better connect with both freelancers and firms. In this example, you can see that John is the project manager for the firm. A project manager will help you understand the scope of your project before looping in one or more experts to actually do the hands-on implementation in your account. You can chat back and forth with either the experts or the project manager to make sure they understand the nature of the work you need done. If you're working with a firm like we are in this example, they may add another expert to your conversation. You can see that John has added his colleague Nikhil to our conversation. Selecting details shows Nikhil's experience and his AWS certifications. We check these certifications daily to ensure they are still valid. If you select the Reviews tab, you'll be able to read reviews that other customers have left on this firm. In this view, you can continue to chat with the experts for as long as you need to make sure they have all of the information to provide a proposal for you. Once you've decided you'd like to move forward, the expert will send over a proposal outlining the work to be completed and the price point. Proposals can include any legal terms you and the expert would like, as well as the maximum price that you'll be charged. We recommend asking your expert to include payment milestones as well, so that you'll know when to expect a payment request. Once you've accepted the proposal, the expert can request access to your AWS environment, as shown here. In this example, the expert is requesting database administrator access to my account. You can see details explaining the type of access that I'm granting. Once the expert begins work in my account, I can return to this view and click Activities to see CloudTrail logs of the activity that has been completed in my AWS environment. You can also return to this screen to revoke access at any time, though access is automatically revoked when the project is completed. After the expert has met those predefined milestones that we talked about before, they will request payment. Experts can request payments in any increment that we've agreed to, but it can never go over that amount agreed to in our original proposal. If we identify some extra scope, simply ask the expert to send a supplemental proposal for you to review and approve. You can complete as many proposals as you'd like with the same expert or with multiple experts, depending upon your project needs. Once your proposal is completed, you will be prompted to leave a rating and review, which will be showcased in the expert's profile. We also collect private feedback, which helps us to better understand our expert's performance. As you can see, our proposal is completed and the access to my AWS environment has been revoked. You can update your review at any time by returning to this screen. And as I mentioned, you can continue to chat with your expert or work on supplemental proposals from this view. Over the past year, we've seen all types of requests completed on IQ, but here are our top 6 use cases. Mobile and web application requests are very common, such as setting up a website or leveraging Amazon Lightsail. Network and security projects, such as setting up a VPN or VPC, can be a great area for you to outsource, as it's critical for you to get it right, but you don't necessarily need the expertise on your staff day to day. We've also seen a growth in productivity and collaboration requests as our customers react to increased work from home environments. Experts can help you set up Amazon Connect or Amazon Workspaces to ensure your team stays productive when working from home. Databases and analytics are also common use cases, as you may be looking to set up or migrate your database or better analyze your data. We also see customers looking for cost optimization projects, as a few hours with an expert can save you thousands of dollars in the long term. And finally, we see a lot of requests for machine learning projects, as you may be looking to implement machine learning solutions, but might not quite yet be ready to invest in specialized team members. If you're looking for preset solutions, we've integrated listings into AWS Marketplace. These are predefined deliverables with timelines and price ranges that you can browse. If you go to AWS Marketplace, you can simply click on the AWS IQ tab in the nav, and you'll see preset offerings for our top use cases. Here's an example for some listings for networking and security, but you can always post a custom request if you don't see exactly what you're looking for. Let's just go through a few examples of customer requests that have been completed on IQ this past year. When COVID-19 hit and many states enacted stay-at-home orders, the pastor at Plymouth Church was looking to stream his service to his congregation, but he didn't have the technical expertise to set it up. He connected with one of our experts, Business Compass LLC, on AWS IQ. Business Compass LLC was able to set up a live streaming solution with AWS Elemental Media Live in just under a week. Plymouth Church was able to easily stream to their congregation and continue to stay connected, even remotely. For our second example, the customer was a seller on Amazon.com. They were looking to gain additional insight on their e-commerce business to understand order patterns and sales performance. They posted a custom request on IQ and were quickly connected with an expert. The expert built them a pipeline from their Amazon Marketplace data to Amazon Aurora. He then completed a quick site dashboard to help the customer better understand their business and stay on top of emerging trends. So you can get started with professional services today. You can check out professional services on AWS Marketplace by search and browsing, or post on AWS IQ by going to aws.amazon.com/IQ. Thank you so much for joining us today. To learn more about all of the AWS Marketplace software procurement information pages, you can visit the AWS Software Procurement Information page and check out all the other AWS Marketplace and AWS Data Exchange sessions scheduled over the next few weeks. Thanks very much for your time and attention, and please complete the session survey.